everyone, and welcome to the Formula Mac channel. My name is Colin, and today I will be asking and answering 5 big questions going into this upcoming 2025 season. I figured to address the elephant in the room straight off the bat: Lewis Hamilton at Ferrari. There are lots of big questions. The first thing I want to get into is his preseason testing crash. Now, this was during the testing of previous cars. He was driving the 2023 car, which was a very peppy car. It was not up to snuff with Carlos Sainz's ability, and Lewis Hamilton seems to struggle with it as well in the preseason test. And he was getting to the grips with a different style because he's got a new constructor and a new engine, new power unit behind him. So he's got some adjusting to do. And the next thing that goes along with it is his teammate, Charles Leclerc. Charles Leclerc's seniority, being his 7th season in the team, he's very comfortable with Ferrari. It's everyone's dream, but Charles has been living it for 7 years. He knows how to lead the team, and he has title fight experience with Max Verstappen in 2022, and he knows that the season matters more than the race, which is kind of how Hamilton handled his titles. Every race matters, but the season is the bigger picture. And judging on Lewis's recent form, leaving Mercedes felt like he was just trying to get the season over with. It will take some mental adjustments for him to be able to compete for world championship winning level, but I think he can get there for sure. Now, a slightly smaller elephant in the room is Lando's title challenge. McLaren's preseason form looks excellent. It looks freaking excellent because they went very, very smoothly for all 10 teams in preseason testing, at least I think. And McLaren seemed to top the timing sheets at least at the very, very beginning. And then they focus more on the race pace rather than their quali pace like the first 2 days. And the timing sheets on Saturday, I'm expecting McLaren to be on pole position, whether that's Lando or Oscar. And speaking of Oscar, he is a dark horse in this season because I think everybody is counting him out since Lando's title challenge seems to be on the horizon. And Oscar, I feel like, has a lot more natural talent than Lando does. Lando has had to learn more on track through experience, while Oscar is able to get it done right away through talent. But Lando kind of has to learn more. But I feel like Lando is at a title challenging level, but Oscar can be right there with him and challenge for his title, at least as a number 2 driver. Now, Lando's confidence is kind of what I was talking about with Lando's experience needing to learn things. He has improved throughout 2024, but I feel like he is definitely ready for a world title this year. He's definitely ready to challenge for it. Now, I think we can talk about Max's title defense. Our current world champion went through a few struggles. While the fans, like me, entertained these issues, as much as I support Max Verstappen, I would like to see him win through a good fight rather than him being 30 seconds ahead. With Adrian Newey's exit, going to Aston Martin, it certainly damaged the team's pace, falling to 3rd overall after having the most dominant car in World Championship history. But Max had done enough through the early parts of the season so that he was able to maintain the lead and win his 4th title. Now, I'm expecting to see Max pull things out of the bag like he did in Brazil from 17th to 1st, which I feel like is all on the table this time around, and Max will have to overdrive the car at certain points because I feel like Red Bull are certainly behind McLaren and Ferrari, and Mercedes, they seem to be on the up and up too. So we shall see for sure. Now, Max's new teammate, Liam Lawson, certainly a better ceiling, but I am curious to see if that ceiling will be fulfilled due to the high pressures of being at Red Bull in that 2nd seat. Now, he had much less pressure in the Racing Bulls, but he still had pressure of getting that seat. But now he has that seat. So now what? Now he has to take the challenge to Max, really, and beat him as a teammate. But I do not think that Liam Lawson will be able to beat Max Verstappen. But I'm sure that Liam Lawson will be able to hold his own. Certainly much better than Sergio Perez did, and certainly much better than Albon or Gasly, in my opinion. Number 4 is Adrian Newey going to Aston Martin. So talking about his exit, you're now seeing his entrance into Aston Martin, and he started about a week ago, and I don't think he's gotten a whole lot done. At least I hope. That would say a lot about how Aston Martin used to run if Adrian Newey can fix a lot in a week. So I don't think we're going to see any meaningful upgrades to the 2025 car until at least after the summer break. By that time, all the focus will be on the 2026 car. The 8-minute standing ovation from the Aston Martin crew, it shows a lot. I think and hope that Aston Martin won't throw away 2025. Now, with driver number 2, Lance Stroll, Adrian Newey is honestly surprised about his work ethic, because the media paints a lot of bad pictures about Lance Stroll. And I'm hoping that he will do well so that Crofty doesn't have to make another retirement to tennis accusation again. Because at least for the past few years, it feels like Lance has just been not interested at all. With Aston's trajectory, this is a huge shift because Adrian Newey does things the old-fashioned way, and he does things efficiently, he does things better. Going into the last question, the 2025 driver transfers. There are 10 drivers driving for a brand new team this year, and I have split them into drivers who I think will perform well and drivers who I think will perform not as well as these guys. Now, the drivers that I think will do better than what people think are Liam Lawson, Kimi Antonelli, Gabriel Bortoleto, Nico Hülkenberg, and Carlos Sainz. I think those guys have already shown their worth on the track, and they just have achievements to make. Now, I'm hoping that Liam Lawson can find a home in Red Bull, but I'm not so sure with Max's contract going all the way to 2028. Now, everything can change, but I'm hoping that Lawson will adjust to the pressures of Red Bull well. And with Kimi Antonelli, the Monza crash really rings in everybody's ears, and I'm hoping that he won't turn into a crash-prone kid, because Toto Wolff really almost congratulated him on the team radio after he had rode off the car. Now, Gabriel Bortoleto, Formula 3 and Formula 2 champion as far as I know, I think he will surprise everyone. And I think the Sauber package as a whole will be way better than what everybody thinks. And Hülkenberg will be elite. Sainz is going to be able to drive the wheels off that Williams, because I feel like Carlos can develop a car very well and help it suit him and his driving needs, because he was able to do really good things with that Ferrari once he got his footing. He had a lot of confidence issues, and it showed on track, all the gravel traps that Carlos went through. And he definitely improved himself. In 2023, he was the only other winner besides Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez. So I feel like Carlos can do a lot in that Williams. I think he could do a lot. So it's just a waiting game, because I think all of these drivers will perform amazingly throughout this season. But now let's get on to the drivers who I think won't do so well. Jack Doohan, Oliver Bearman, Isaac Hadjar, Esteban Ocon, and Lewis Hamilton. Now, these drivers are not bad. I think that Jack Doohan will get replaced at the summer break. I don't think he's bad. I just don't have a lot of high hopes for Jack Doohan. I hope that he does well. He's a great guy. He's a great kid. I think he will get really outpaced by Pierre Gasly for sure. Now, Oliver Bearman, I don't think he'll have a good rookie year either, because if you pay attention to his Formula 2 season last year, while he was really on form at the beginning of the season, but once he got taken out for Saudi, his Formula 2 season kind of crumbled, and he really focused on F1. And now, all of a sudden, he has a seat, performing well in random F1 races and in different cars. I just hope that he can be consistent with it, because he did some amazing stuff in Saudi in that Ferrari. Now, Isaac Hadjar, I do not understand why people think that he's going to be faster than Yuki Tsunoda, because he won't. End of story. Moving on. Esteban Ocon, I think he will ruin Haas F1. I think he'll keep crashing into Behrman or accuse the team of slowing him down. I really don't like Esteban Ocon. I hope he doesn't do those things, but Ocon doesn't have a very good track record of doing well around his teammates. And now the peculiar answer is Lewis Hamilton. I think he will still do well. I don't think he will do as well as everybody says. I don't think he will win a world championship like this year. I think an 8th world title is on the cards for Lewis Hamilton for sure. But this year, I really think it's not in his hands. I don't think he will be able to adjust fast enough. And I think Lando, Oscar, and Charles will have surpassed him in the standings. I think he'll finish 4th. But that's not to say he'll have a bad season at all. I think he can still win races, and I think he can still score consistent podiums. He's going into a new team, he's going in with a new power unit, with a new everything. But luckily, a lot of that stuff is in-house, so he'll be able to learn quite fast. And at the preseason test, it seemed like he did learn quite fast. I think next year and the year after, he has a much better chance of winning the championship. But Lewis has to adjust to this machinery first, because he's been driving with Mercedes engines for 18 seasons. That's a long time. It's gonna act different, it's gonna shift different, and he has to adjust to all of it. You know, he's always had it Mercedes power unit behind him, and he'll have to get used to it, and I think he will. I just don't think he will learn and get used to it fast enough to win the world championship this year. So with that being said, those are my 5 big questions going into the 2025 season. I hope you all enjoyed. Leave a like if you did. Leave a dislike if you didn't. Leave a comment if you have something to say. Let me know. Peace out.